The further you travel, the riskier your journey will become.
The Insidious franchise may want to take their own advice there before it's too late. Today we have some updates on Insidious 6 and the spin-off movie Threads, the I Know What You Did Last Summer film coming next summer, perfect timing, some Terrifier 3 stuff, and of course some Scream 7 updates. Now let's get into it. Hey everybody, I'm KillJoy Jake, and instead of having friends, I have horror movies. Kicking off today's update video is some Insidious 6 talk, and I'm going to make this joke every single time we talk about this movie, but no, I'm not talking about the villain group from Spider-Man. It's funny to me, even if you've heard that joke 1,000 times. It's a weird title. The film has reportedly been delayed from its original August 29th of 2025 release date. Man, this and Saw 11 are facing some major delays. These James Wan sequels just cannot get a break right now. As a bit of a recap, Insidious 5, subtitled The Red Door, was a major box office success.
Great success.
Reeling in almost $190 million against a $16 million budget, making it the highest grossing film of the series. It definitely was not the best film of the entire series, though maybe even the weakest. I think most franchise fans would agree that we're done with the Lambert family. I think their story ended in the second movie, if I'm being real, but it was nice seeing these characters again in that last entry. It also leaves the door open for more, kind of. After Dalton paints over the door that supposedly stops the demon for some reason, super dumb ending, but okay, there's a post-credit scene where the light over the red door flickers back on, teasing more to come. Listen, I get it, we're done with the Lambert family, but there's a really chaotic part of me that just wants this story to have a better ending, opposed to painting over the goddamn door. I sound like a Panic at the Disco song over here, Jesus. The one thing I really did like about Insidious The Red Door, though, was Chris Winslow's character, played by Sinclair Daniel. I would love to see her come back for Insidious 6. Maybe it's Dalton's sophomore year in college and they're like hanging out again and fighting demons. I don't know, I'm here for it. Just end it better than paint. We also have the much more ambitious sounding Threads film coming out, which is supposed to be a spin-off of the franchise that stars Kumail Nanjiani and Mandy Moore. I call this one ambitious because the plot description is essentially that they're a couple that lost their daughter and they're using the Further's time travel abilities, which we saw first in Insidious Chapter 2, to potentially prevent her death. From the concept alone, I'm invested. There's no release date on this project yet or really any movement on it at all, but I really do hope it happens. I'm a little more excited for this one than Insidious 6. In the middle of the night, Sony Pictures just dropped the first poster for 28 Years Later, which looks sick, and it looks like it's setting up whatever the hell the Bone Temple is. For those who don't know, 28 Years Later coming out next summer as well, pretty close to I Know What You Did Last Summer, actually, which we're going to talk about in a second. It releases on June 20th of 2025. It's coming from the original writer-director of the first movie, Alex Garland, Danny Boyle, respectively, and it's supposed to be starting a brand new trilogy. Now, the second film is going to be directed by Nia DaCosta, who did the Candyman remake back in 2021. I like that film. It's not perfect, but I've had a good time with it. The sequel is subtitled The Bone Temple. And listen, I'm excited for 28 Years Later, but what the f is the Bone Temple? I'm so excited to find that out. And considering that this poster here has a bunch of skulls on it, maybe it's a temple made out of a bunch of human skulls, which I'm, once again, very invested in. Maybe the thing I'm the most excited to talk about. 28 Years Later, the first film in particular, has a confirmed cast of Ralph Fiennes, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Jodie Comer, Jack O'Connell, and Aaron Kellyman. Aaron Kellyman? I love that name. I just saw the new Nosferatu yesterday, review coming tomorrow. Ralph Fiennes and Aaron Taylor Johnson are fantastic in it. The embargo lifted, so I could actually talk about that movie. Not with spoilers, obviously, but it's kind of crazy. I don't know, it's just weird. The movie doesn't come out for weeks and I'm allowed to talk about it. Weird. Check out the review tomorrow. The other really exciting thing about this project is that Cillian Murphy from the original film is said to be returning in this new movie. Now, he was of course absent from the sequel 28 Weeks Later, but listen, let's not forget here that Jim was not the only survivor at the end of 28 Days. We also have Selena, played by Naomi Harris. What's up with that? What's she doing right now? She was in the new Venom. Is that what I'm seeing? Venom Let There Be Carnage? I didn't see it. I just don't care about the Venom movies, but like, let's get her back on board too. That would be really cool. Murphy is also executive producing the project, which I find interesting as well. He's clearly invested in this. He does not need to be in a zombie movie. He was just an Oppenheimer, you know what I mean? So he clearly has some passion behind this project, which is really cool. It tells me this is going to be of quality. Anytime they announce a whole trilogy of films with horror movies, I get a little worried. Maybe they're just doing it for money, you know? Clearly that's what happened with Halloween, but let's hope all three of these are of quality. The new I Know What You Did Last Summer has just begun filming. Now, I've been very lukewarm on this project. There are things I'm super excited about when it comes to a new I Know What You Did Last Summer, like the cast. We'll talk about that in a second, but I don't know if I Know What You Did Last Summer ever even needed a franchise to begin with. Unlike Scream, it's a much more personal story about the central group of characters, and most of these continuations have proved that the series ran out of juice fast. The first sequel is watchable due to its insanely cheesy concept and great characters. But like, that's about it. Remove Brandy Norwood from that movie and the island setting, and what do you have? Not a whole lot. Was that killer reveal really great? No. Ben's son? That's terrible, dude. Come on. In defense of this new movie, there are some standouts from the cast that have me invested, not just the legacy characters. It features Chase Sue Wonders from Bodies, 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 and Madeline Klein, who plays Sarah on Outer Banks. Both of these actresses are killer in those respective roles. I really like both of those properties a lot. And of course, Freddie Prinze Jr. is officially on board to come back for this new movie. We also know that Jennifer Love Hewitt is in talks, and she will likely be in the film. I know a lot of people are worried that she's not going to be in it. No worries, she's going to come back, dude. They're not going to make the mistake of making another one of these films without her. Did you guys see I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer? Oh my god. You guys think Jeepers Creepers Reborn is bad. This movie is so 50-50. I have no idea how this one is going to end up. But unlike Scream, I don't really care about the killer reveal as much. Like, obviously that is way more important to the Scream franchise than I Know What You Did Last Summer. For me, I'm a little more concerned about the anxiety of the situation here. That is the most effective part of that original film. The idea of characters getting themselves into absolutely horrible trouble that will ruin their lives. Madeline Klein is no stranger to playing a character like that if you guys have seen Outer Banks, which is so good and I'll never stop shutting up about it. One day I'm making a video about it. All right, one more thing about Outer Banks. They should just cast everyone from that show. Like, literally everyone from that show should just be in a new I Know What You Did Last Summer. That show is basically Uncharted meets I Know What You Did Last Summer. It's great. It's so good. I'm excited for this movie, though. I hope it's good. Some of you skipped ahead to this update, and I'm watching you, I know. Terrifier 3 is currently streaming if you have not seen it yet, and the physical release will be out later this month, but it's coming back to theaters this Christmas with a little present attached. The re-release will feature a sneak peek at Art Attack, the making of documentary of the third film. I can't wait to see this documentary and learn more things about this production. As you guys probably know by now, this is a groundbreaking horror film, like it or not. It destroyed the ratings board, and we're going to talk more about that in a second. What's really interesting about this re-release is Terrifier 3 made almost $90 million at the box office during its initial theatrical run. This is a long shot, but imagine if the film were able to gross 100 from this re-release. That would be a Christmas miracle. We could add to this historic film so much if it was able to cross that 100 million mark. So go out to the theaters, take the whole family on Christmas Day, and go see Art the Clown kill a bunch of people. A family that slays together stays together. If you can't make it to the theater, however, we also have Art the Clown's eulogy log dropping on the streaming platform Screambox on Christmas Eve. The word eulogy in that log there has me asking a lot of questions. Is this gonna be Art the Clown rubbing salt and bleach into the wounds of his freshest victims, maybe? Kind of taking a glance back at all the kills he was able to score in Terrifier 3 and be like, wasn't that a good time? Ah, sweet, sweet memories. Finally, we also have an update on The Monster, a film that stars Sienna Shaw herself, Lauren Lavera. Gina Phillips from Jeepers Creepers has just joined the cast. Now, say what you want about Jeepers Creepers. There is a massive stain on that franchise's legacy. But I have always loved Gina Phillips in that first movie. What's really exciting about this casting announcement is that this will be her first on-screen appearance since Jeepers Creepers 3, where she was just in it for a split second right at the end. The sad thing about that is it might be the best part of that ill-fated movie. I'm also really hyped to see Jamon Hansu from the last two Quiet Places in this movie and Alicia Witt from Longlegs. Both excellent performers. It also comes from director Darren Lynn Bousman, who directed a Saw film or two in his time. I love this entire group of horror filmmakers. I can't wait to see what this project is all about. There's not too much to report on Terrifier 4 besides what's already been established. It's happening, and it might focus on Art the Clown's backstory. That's all we got so far. To speculate a little bit, Damien is probably writing the script as you're watching this video, and we'll probably see it in 2026, maybe around October time. Although I am planning a video sometime next week to talk a little bit about a new holiday that Terrifier 4 can be set on, so maybe we see it sometime in the spring. We'll just have to see. More folks are joining the Scream 7 cast, which means production is likely going to start sometime soon. Finally! On top of Isabel May being confirmed recently to be playing Sydney's daughter, we've also learned that Celeste O'Connor from the new Ghostbusters movies and Asa German have joined the cast. I'm pretty sure that Cashin Bilton guy was just a bad rumor or something, or maybe he passed on the scripts, I don't know, but nothing is confirmed about this fella. He could have been a great Ghostface though, tell you what. Celeste plays Lucky in Ghostbusters Afterlife and Frozen Empire. She was also in Freaky from Christopher Landon, which if he was still directing this movie, that would have been an awesome reteaming. Asa German plays Sam on The Boys spin-off show Gen V. I've heard good things, but I've kind of fell off The Boys train recently. It's not that I don't like The Boys, I just have not had the desire to go and watch season 4. I was a little underwhelmed with season 3. Hot take. And then there's a spin-off show that you have to watch before you see season 4 of the show. It's like that's a lot. It's a lot of my time. I'm watching Outer Banks right now, okay? I have to get to it now because I gotta see what this guy's all about. And if I'm being honest, Asa here looks more like a serial killer than the last guy. Jeez, he's gotta be a bad guy on Gen V, right? Don't spoil it for me. Actually, don't let me know. While all this casting news is exciting, we're finally getting updates on this project that was dead in the water for the longest time. What is with all the young people? For most Scream films, that is not even a question that would remotely come into my brain here, but isn't this supposed to be the new Sidney Prescott movie and we're introducing basically core 4 replacements? Where's all the older people who are supposed to be a part of the cast? Is Sidney Prescott hanging out with kids or something? I mean, I guess she does that a lot. My worry right now as a Scream fan is that they're just gonna do Scream 5 again, where it's young people all surrounded around Sydney's daughter that are getting killed by Ghostface, and Sydney just comes in for backup at the 3rd act. Again, if this franchise needs to avoid anything in this new entry, it's repeating itself because, dear God, that is all it knows how to do, apparently. Scream 7 has picked the lane of focusing on Sidney Prescott. I don't think that's the very best lane for this franchise, but that's the lane that they've chosen. Stick to it. Stop trying to make movies that appease everybody. You're not gonna do it, I promise. When you try to make everybody happy, you make nobody happy. You have picked that lane. I just spilled coffee on myself. Stick to it. That was hot. I'm wearing white shorts right now. Fuck. Before we wrap up today's video, I just started a new page called KillJoy Jake Retro. I have a bunch of deep dive videos on there, and if that's content that you're interested in watching, go check it out. So far, I've talked about the Creep franchise, Thanksgiving from 2023, and Krampus. Go subscribe and watch some of those videos. I'm gonna clean myself up, and then I'm gonna talk about actually, we're at the end of the video, aren't we? Okay, anyways, I'm not gonna clean myself up. Here's all the coffee on me, if you don't believe me. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Which update was your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.